Hola felas, aquí les traigo un video completamente subtitulado al español de Ultra Vegito. Podrás encontrar todos los links del creador de este contenido en la descripción del video. Y ahora, disfruta.
Another down. Cronoa was right. We can and will win this thing. This scoundrel. King, surely this cannot be true. Rise, rise, my warrior. So our story continues with the victorious Ultra Vegito, now in his all-new form. A strange demonic or alien fusion with the Beyond Beast form he had gained from Gohan. His hair a dark grey now, along with his black fur. As looking down, he would be smirking at the all-red pool below him, stained now by the blood of his latest victim, King. But one elder god watching would clearly not be pleased, as Akobel, immediately standing up with visible sweat on his brow, would then think, Father's fighter, King, actually fell, and by a mortal's hand. Of course, I expected this in some way, but still, seeing it with my own eyes is hard to believe. After everything, these creatures, these monsters Zeus creates, really are fallible. But for the one to show me, for it to be Vegito, did I underestimate him? Lucif is still stronger than him, isn't he? I need to get out of here. I need to prepare for this change in events. My other fighters. Akobel. As Poseidon across the stage would notice the commotion with his fellow elder god, who suddenly would then vanish from the spot. Leaving the usually stoic already eliminated elder god to then reflect, I haven't seen that look on young Akobel for a very long time. Not since he were a boy. Unbelievable, Vegito. But it seems you have made an archangel warrior. Who would have thought to have come here as a mortal? One from Hera's multiverse no less, and stand toe-to-toe with Zeus's warriors. You truly are magnificent. As when a sharp grin would then come across his face involuntarily, he would finish. This tournament may not end as I expected after all. Show me, Vegito, what a new era could look like. An era ruled by a mortal. But still just muttering his fighter's name in disbelief would be Zeus, trying not to show too much emotion with his poker face, but whispering, My first creation. The one who has been with me since the beginning is gone. Never did I think this would happen now. Maybe to Castiel or Akobel, but Hera is what created this Vegito, this Saiyan. King, how could you lose to this boy? This red, how delicious. Wouldn't mind a little skinny dip before this domain vanishes, King. But talking of this supposed boy, Vegito would then be seen looking with a smile at the now Red Sea, adding, Don't think I'll just let that body of yours waste away down there. That ridiculous power of yours can't be wasted at all. I haven't been this excited for a meal in a long time. But just as the God Killer would be getting giddy at the idea of more tremendous energy to add to his already overflowing stack, suddenly an alarming thought would cross his mind. Hold on a second here. Why isn't this domain disappearing? If he's done, then this should be gone also. As looking around in every direction, realizing he was still stuck in this dark cave, Red Sea or not, he would begin panicking before... You're kidding! As unbelievably, some way, somehow, the Wolfgar beast that had just had his brains blown out would suddenly burst out of the water right behind Vegito, and with his clawed hand immediately reaching to slice the God Killer to pieces. Impossible! How in the hell? But when this beastly, seemingly immortal king would now rush straight in with his hand spearheaded at Vegito, ironically, this would be when the God Killer would be most calm, seeing his arrival with the side of his eye until... Fine, I can play with you a little more. Let's see what you've got. As after a brief grin, Vegito would instantly turn around to meet King's assault. And by all means, by the look of the panel, it would seem King would get the last laugh, actually landing his blow. Nice try, but the technique is sloppy. How telegraphed do you want to be? But looks can of course be deceiving, especially when it came to Vegito, as the transformed God Killer, with ease, would stop the attack in its tracks, simply by grabbing tightly onto King's wrist just before impact. God, you really are full of surprises! But once again, only shock would be waiting for Vegito, as when he would peer forward, his eyebrow would raise. As unbelievably, the king we would see would not be like the one we knew, as with his eyes completely blank now, no pupil in place, his facial expression would not be changing, almost as if frozen and mindless, as brain matter would continue to just leak down from his clearly unhealed wound. And with a serious face now, Vegito would know why, letting out solemnly, "So that's how it is. You are already dead, King. But your fighting spirit just won't let you give up. It won't let you stop trying. The Wolfgar, from this day, I will remember my origins. You have proven truly, you are a warrior race. Rest in peace, my friend." As with that final show of respect shown, Vegito's hand would now begin disintegrating into globs of pink goo. And of course this goo material would then wrap around all around King's unmoving arm, moving up over his shoulder, slowly but surely. And with King unmoving in this dead state, the boo goo would then begin covering everything, just leaving his head exposed, before now covering his whole body and closing inwards down to a small ball, before ultimately coming back into Vegito's hand leaving nothing behind now, completely absorbed. It's done. And just like that, the fight would truly be over. The God Killer now left as the only fighter left in this strange domain. And the proof the battle was over would come when the domain would finally begin disappearing away, and the tournament stage would return. And just like that, Vegito would be back, straight in the middle, silent, as Cronoa would then prod him. Oh, my dear Vegito, you have surpassed all my greatest hopes. Tell me, how does it feel to possess King's power now? Zeus's power! What have I just absorbed? King, this potential is something else. Not even Broly could hold a candle. As whispering quietly, the God Killer would slowly bring back in his arm before... In a gigantic power-up, Vegito's massive grown hair would stand on end as his body would bulk up. His 3 eyes all completely turning amber like King's, and bolts of Zeus's signature lightning ringing out all over the place. For the first time in a long time, Vegito had truly experienced a meal that made a difference. And as this furious power-up would continue, creating a giant aura as the centerpiece for the entire tournament, a certain elder god would even be forced to react physically to the sheer power. How hideous! He's gaining far too much power, and way too fast! As Castiel even would be covering his face, from the huge waves of wind and debris coming from Vegito's actions. Yes, Vegito, show them all how futile this tournament is. The winner is standing right before them. I will be the leader of the Elder Gods. As almost in ecstasy, Vegito's continuous power would cause Cronoa to blush and shake in excitement.
Round 6 is finished. The winner is Elder God Cronoa.
As clearly in a huff and reluctantly, much like his son, Zeus would then stand up abruptly and announce the winner, his eyes staring at Vegito still, using his own creation's power. Before, with it seemingly being too much to look at anymore, Zeus would turn around, but not before announcing,
I call upon a second brink. This one will be longer, 48 hours, and then we will return. These events require new calibrations.
As just like that, Zeus would then walk away and fade into the shadows. Hold on. What the hell happened here? There's nothing. What? Who are you? Vegito! As unbelievably, some black seraphim eyes, this mysterious man would let out, no, I am Gogito. As just like that, in a stunning turn of events, the man claiming to be Vegito, the fusion of both Vegito and Gogeta, with 3 bangs on his head, would seemingly blast Hera himself into ashes. For the very first time, a Saiyan, a mortal, had defeated an elder god. Find out what happens next on the next exciting episode of